And we're back. So, this is part 2, guys. What we're going to be doing here is going interplanetary. So, the way we're going to do that is, first off, we're going to set Mars as our target. In this game, it's called Duna, basically. So, we're heading to Duna, boys. Basically, the Mars analog. One of the easiest planets to get to, and especially once you get there to do stuff at. So, it's definitely a fun planet. So what we're going to do is we're going to burn out of Kerbin's little area, follow this track, and speed up while we're headed out, and hopefully, maybe, end up over at Duna. Oh, and we totally screwed up the timing. That's okay. There's a lot of things we can do to try and make this work out for us in the end. It's just not 100% ideal. That's all. But like I said, we can make it happen. Unless my maneuver node decides to delete itself. In which case, that's certainly not ideal. Okie dokie. So, we're just gonna... Oh, damn it. Stupid thing. Basically, we're trying to get those two little white ticks to come together. And quit being so damn touchy. Oh, there we go. I like the way that is starting to look. Boom. So, that's what we're after right there. It's not too close, but what's happening is once we get to Duna, this guy right here, we're going to make a path like this. So this just gives us an idea of what we can expect to have happen if we execute this burn once we get to Duna. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get ready to do that. So pretty much just going to reorient ourselves, aiming at the little blue maneuver node indicator. And then we're going to come back to not that. So I'm just going to time warp forward. I'm going to hit a quick save. And then we're going to travel around the night side of the planet real quick. But you can see we're holding on to that electric charge from these two guys up here that we put on earlier. So they're going to keep on doing their thing as we go to Duna. So, not a very good image, at least certainly not the best, but we'll take a look at what happened in our map view. So, basically we're kicking our orbit out now. What we're going to do is we need to move this, the tip of the orbit, outside to break out of this gravity. So what we're going to do is gradually going to increase, and as we keep burning, this curve is going to approach more and more straight with this. So basically, we're out of the sphere of influence, now we're just finishing up the burn. And these can become very precise ordeals. So what we want to do is kill this node and manually do this. So one thing you can do to help out So take that thrust limiter down, you can make really fine changes. So as you can see here, we're just going to try and minimize this number. So you can see it's still dropping. It just started to increase. So call her good there. Hit a quick save, and we're on the way to Duna. Just going to kind of come around the planet, and we're off. Just like that. And we got our full transfer stage full. So this is what's going to slow us down once we get to Duna. But until then, we time warp. And I'm just going to focus on our lander. And once we get a little bit a ways away from our home planet, we are going to adjust this encounter. Going to try and make a maneuver node. At least I'd like. Well, we can do this manually. So I'm just going to start firing the engine. Realize that increases my height. I'm going to try and reduce this as well. I think this is going to be our big problem. And you need to go the other way with that as well. So basically, I'm burning in all of the cardinal directions to try and figure out which one is going to bring me closer into Duna. And it's a wasteful process, but it works if you have plenty of fuel like we do right now. So you can see our periapsis going down. It's, a little lower. One thing that'll help us out a lot right here is this. So you can see we want to be leveled out with Duna when we come in. About right there. It's a nice even path. So we're still going to look to bring this in just a little more. We're probably considering an orbital height of about 80 kilometers. So this is the right direction, as luck would have it. So we're going to come right in between the moon of Mars and wait for that 80 kilometer. Well, call her good there. So now that our orbit's finally tuned into Mars, we can sit back and time accelerate till we get there. So this is orbital mechanics. Basically what's happening is Mars, Duna, is moving at 7,500 meters per second. Kerbin's moving at 9,200. So we're moving at 10,000, 10,500. So what we're doing is we're moving quick in order to gain the energy to increase this orbit right here. Kerbin's orbit stays circular because it doesn't have the energy that our spacecraft does. So ours is going to use that energy to kick out and meet up with Duna. Once we meet up with Duna, we're going to be going too slow. So we're going to be at this point flying a very tight orbit, and this purple is going to be our path. So we're going to need to catch up to Duna and gain the energy needed to move this point right up here. So that's what we're going to do once we get to that very low altitude right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it circularizing our orbit and performing an orbital insertion into Duna. So that's basically the math behind what's happening. All these planets out here, these move slow, 4,200 meters per second. And even the Pluto analog moves at 2,800 meters a second. So the closer you are, the faster you move. Mercury, 18 grand meters a second. It's pretty fucking fast. So we're almost there. Only another 30 days. And you can see we still got all our electric charge, so we're not too worried about much. The only thing we want to do is just knock this orbital insertion out. So, apparently not yet. Now, we have arrived. And we'll do the same thing in the exact reverse order. We're going to make a maneuver node to circularize, just to give us an idea of what exactly we're going to need to do. So, we will stay right here. And I'm thinking, we'll probably just go in for the whole landing. I'm thinking about it. We'll see what the terrain looks like when we get there. There's no rush. We don't have to, if we don't want to. Oops. Sometimes you can miss the burn window, but that's okay. Most of the time. But the important thing is we're almost in orbit around Mars. We're just gonna lower our energy relative to Duna and get in this nice low circular orbit. Gonna give us a good re-entry trajectory, or I should say entry trajectory when we go to land. So, as we continue onward with this, you can see we just barely are now into a good orbit. Now, we want to plot out our landing zone, but we'll have to do that in the next part because it's time for you guys to take a break. Me as well. See you in a sec.